we both thought the same way, and we both liked to win. We both detested getting beat. We had some great times together, and as I say, I certainly learned from him, and I like to think that he picked the thing up too.
When Bill Shankly shocked everyone by resigning in 1974, Bob Paisley took over as manager with apprehension.
I thought I would be judged on Bill's standards, and if anybody goes into life and you're judged on his work and that, then, you know, 9 times out of 10 you'll hit the deck.
So it would be true to say you've surprised yourself, perhaps?
Oh, well, in your wildest dreams, you couldn't even think of what happened here. I joked about it when I took over. I said, you know, I only hope I'm here long enough to win as many trophies as Bill, and I thought then I'd be about 99.
Bob Paisley has enjoyed undreamed of success as a manager. If Liverpool win this season's league championship, it will be his 16th trophy in only 8 seasons as manager. But despite his success, Bob, as a man, has hardly changed.
I'd just as soon walk down the street and be unrecognised, and I would be highly delighted if I could do that. But I don't mean that in any disrespect to anyone, not of the supporters, but it isn't my scene. I just like to get on. I get a terrific enjoyment that I'm able to be in charge of what's entertaining them, and if it's on the field, I like to think that is the biggest thing that I can give them.
Well won by Callaghan. Plenty of players forward here, Liverpool. That's nice, that's McDermott, and that's a goal!
The quiet approach has brought Paisley success, but what does he make of the new breed of more extrovert managers?
It isn't that I dislike them. I like them as people and that, but some of them put a tremendous lot of pressure onto players, and this is the part about it that I think they should give a little bit of thought to it, because everyone can take, you know, the plaudits or criticism if they wanted that, but you know, I think they should be a little bit more guarded in that, because if they've got any sort of youngsters in, and then when the season's about 10 days old, they've got the league tied up and that, and if there's youngsters and that in that team, everyone can take that mentally in that, and I think you put the pressure on them that way.
Thousands of people have tried to say why it is Liverpool have been so successful. Now, you've been here 43 years. If you don't know the answer to that, I don't suppose anyone does.
Well, and I'm still looking for that answer, the way the people want it, because I think they think there's just some magic wand waved and this happens and that, and you look for the reasons and that, and I think it's the sort of family spirit that goes right through the club. And all right, you say, well, all right, you can do that, but you wouldn't get a team. But it's infectious, and that it goes to the people that come here and that. It's this family thing. It's the common sense approach to it is the biggest thing. We possibly couldn't talk above the heads of the players and that. But I'm quite sure that's what happens at lots of clubs. And I think, you know, they, by and large, basically, they're only ordinary come and work a day lads that come into the game. There's not too many university ones get in that could talk you under the table and that, and that we don't try to complicate the game. And basically the game's got simple rules and that, and if they're adhered to and done correctly, that's a good starting point.
It all seems so simple. Why haven't people been able to repeat it?
Because they're looking for something different. They're looking for something fancy. You know, there's some of the jargon's frightening. You've got to get in round the back or something. The burglar instinct is probably, you know, and then you've got to be positive and more positive runs, and you're too negative. The electrician comes in, you know. But, you know, they just talk for that without any real depth of really what they're talking about.
But the planning here is meticulous, isn't it? I mean, things like training and the fact that Liverpool don't have many injuries and are always going strong at the end of matches and the end of seasons, that's no accident.
The common sense approach to it, it's you know, the training's looked into in as much as that they wouldn't leave the strength on the training ground and that and everything, and the individuals worked over and that and seeing what he can do.
He just sees little things in your game, and he just has little words in your ear now and again and says maybe you should have gone a bit tighter to such and such a body or whatever. And you know, he must have seen so many games in his career, and he's just very good at things like that. I mean, even the likes of Kenny Dalglish and people like that, he still says little things to them about their game, which helps improve us all.
Neil. Johnson. First time to McDermott. Dalglish. And that's through.
We want a long-term effort, and if we can keep the long-term stuff going on youngsters and that, then you've got a chance of continuity and success.
I suppose you've reached the stage in life and in your career where a lot of men in other walks of life will be thinking about retirement. Do you?
Well, obviously, you've got to think that way, but the one thing that's got to be foremost in my mind, that I don't lose my appetite there. I would try to go on as long as I could. I've got about 18 months to do in the contract and that. I would like to see that out, but I think, you know, if I have another season, it'll be about the end. That's what I wouldn't want to do. If I thought I was losing my appetite, and then I would be letting everybody down.
And I say to him, you've got to think it out well, what you're going to do before you retire, because you can't just sit around the house and you can't go racing all the time.
You know, it's frightening to think, you know, what you do without it. But it's got to come.
Our reporter at Anfield was Alan Parry.